What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Underestimated Podcast. It's your host, Jeremy. We're back with another episode. Now, listen, as you can see, well, firstly, welcome back to episode 26. As you can see, this is not the episode that you all have been waiting for. As promoted on my personal social medias and the podcast social medias, it was with great intention for a while that I had intended on episode 26 being the first interview of the podcast. Well, simply putting it, is my fault. Is no one else to be at fault for this opportunity not being capitalized on except for me. So I take full responsibility, and the reason that y'all don't have it. Basically, what happened was it was a interview done on my phone, and I simply just was unknowledgeable of having to press a microphone button on the screen recording in order for you to hear the actual interview. So that is on me. I have a talk with TP, and we have, he's so graciously agreed on coming back to redo the interview at some point later on down the line, which I can't thank him for enough. So that will happen. I intended on him being the first interviewee, but simply put, now with this happening and he's, in the midst of a college basketball season, even though he's currently injured at the moment, he still has to, travel and be with his team all in all. So when it is both applicable for him and I to get it done again, then that will happen. But I am someone who lives off of the word redemption, and I am a very redemptive person, and I am human. And one thing that every human has in common is that we all mess up. I feel like I tend to do it a lot more than the average person, but I have learned to try to make up for those things as quickly and as fast as I possibly can. So because of that, one thing I kind of wanted to eliminate this year, and I haven't really done that quite well as we have now jumped into February, is getting out of the habit of taking long breaks. I know everyone needs their own mental breaks at certain points, but if it's not that, then I don't want to be taking a break. So I have been working and working and working to try to make this up for you all, being that I am the one that messed this up, so I got to make it up to y'all because y'all don't have this interview. So I have this list of possible interviewees, and I've had it for months now, ever since I thought about incorporating interviews into the podcast. So the second person that I have up on that list, I just contacted them yesterday, and they are willing to come on with the intent of getting interviewed this month. So the first interview, because I know the issue that I did the first time, so that should not happen again. Actually, I can guarantee you that will not happen again. That interview should be this month. So y'all should be getting a makeup interview with a different person. I'm not going to spoil who it is yet. I'm going to, just like I did with TP, I'm going to kind of address it as we get closer to the day of me actually interviewing the person. So I'm going to approach it the same way this time. So, when we get close to actually interviewing this person, I will slowly reveal who it is. Also, I'm not sure how long the uploading process is going to be, because what some of you may not know is I just simply just described it as a long, stressful uploading process, but the uploading process for episode 25 to come out took about approximately 3 days. So that's because I try to do it like a different way with the uploading. Once you incorporate video and camera and all that other stuff, it takes a bit more time and storage and all those other technological things. So this is the first of three videos I look to record today. Now, usually, I can almost guarantee you that they will all come out today. But that was when I was uploading a different way that did not involve camera, videos, all that other stuff being incorporated into the video. But I can't promise that. So, although I can expect them to be done, I cannot expect them to be out today, all today. But what I can do is try to get them out on my schedule. I can kind of private them and then publish them either all on one day or in separate spurts as according to my already set uploading schedule, which is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So we'll see how that plays out. But I will be recording episodes 26, 27, and 28 all today. Let's see. Oh, also, I have done some talking with some trusted sources and people closest to me. And I am excited to announce that we have a new series coming to the podcast. A little limited series called Sakayachi Saturdays, where I am going to be kind of giving some of you have been wondering, like, what does your job consist of? Like, what do you do? What is your, like, day as a PA announcer, play-by-play guy, whatever you want to label it as, commentator, whatever. And so I look for this series to kind of give y'all the gist of to answer all those questions for you. And so you're going to kind of get like some exclusives of interviews from some of the guys on the team, the coaches, kind of the whole nine. You get in-game film. All of that will be featured in the limited series. So it came about because, like I said, I've been wanting to make this up to y'all because it really crushed me to not have this interview out for this particular episode. But I've focused on a alternative mindset of trying to redeem that or redeem myself from that. So I hope the three episodes and now with this new series coming along can hopefully do that for all of us. So it's called Sakayachi Saturdays because, y'all don't get a video from me on weekends. Saturdays and Sundays I usually take off. But it's a new year, and I kind of don't like leaving y'all empty-handed on weekends. So this is going to give y'all extra video during the weekend. And I think my guys deserve an extra outlet to kind of express themselves and just show the great things that they do on the basketball court and off the basketball court as well. And I kind of look at this as an opportunity for those things to be possible. So I believe that's it. Wow, I took about 10 minutes just talking about that alone. That's pretty great. So today's episode, I am excited to announce that if you have not heard already, the WNBA is expanding. There is a WNBA team coming to Golden State. As some of you all may know, I am a Golden State Warriors fan, so this is exciting for me. I more than likely will root for the Golden State women's team that's coming along in 2025. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's 2025. Now, I kind of want to talk about this because y'all know. Well, firstly, I am a Las Vegas Aces fan when it comes to the WNBA, but I am one to advocate for women's sports. Like I love basketball. Period. I can watch little league girls or little league boys play on Saturdays. Like I just love the sport. I don't care what level or who's playing. I want to watch, and I feel like everyone should have that mindset because if you really sit and just give women's basketball an opportunity, a chance, I personally believe that you will love it because I love it. I've watched numerous amounts of women's games, whether that be college, high school, or professional. I just love the sport. And so it really makes my heart happy that the WNBA is expanding because they're, believe it or not, they're in probably the most competitive league in all of professional sports. And what I mean by that is the scarcity that they experience of keeping their respective roster spot is extremely large. That is like the epitome of the quote that is like if you can't produce, you're out. Like for instance, 2 years ago, my hometown South Carolina women's basketball team won the national championship. That team featured three players: Bree Bill, Letitia Amihir, and who was the last girl? Hold on, give me a sec. Well, actually, we had five players get drafted from that draft class, being Aaliyah Boston, Zaya Cook, Letitia Amihir, Bree Bill, and Victoria Saxton. I thought it was three, but if I know two for sure, being Bree Bill and Letitia Mihir, do not currently have roster spots or solidified roster spots in the WNBA. We're talking about two girls who were catalysts of the success of the women's basketball roster back in 2022. And I mean played great. Bree Bill is your typical 3 and D, not to say guy, but 3 and D woman. Can spread the floor and space the floor out with her perimeter shooting and can guard your best player. Like Bree will lock down your best player. Same thing with Letitia and me here. All around two way. We're just being real. Um, defends at a very high level and has a very high motor. Doesn't take her foot off the gas on defense at any point in the game, and can pretty much score at all three levels. There's not a spot, well, within reasonable range, there's not a spot that she cannot score at. And now with the expansion, this allows things like that to not happen. For girls to play great in college basketball, get drafted, and not have to necessarily worry about keeping a spot because there's room for them to be kept. And I just always look to be a voice for women's sports not getting the exposure that they need. Like they have a extreme lack of exposure, and it's honestly disappointing to me because I think they're great, and especially with the young girls coming up. You know, like we have people that we kind of grew up on, like Tina Charles, DT, Sue Bird, Candace, are kind of already out the door or working their way out the door. But we have some great young talent coming up. Like I just mentioned, Zaya Cook, Aaliyah Boston. Who am I missing? Ryan Howard or Renee Howard, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Cameron Brink, Sabrina Ionescu, Asia Wilson, still obviously not old. I think she's what, 24, 25. Brianna Stewart isn't considered old yet. I'm trying to think of some other younger people. Haley Jones, Paige Beckers, Aaliyah Edwards, Haley Van Lith, Flau'jae Johnson. I hope I'm not missing anyone. Jada Williams, Bria Cunningham, Juju Watkins. Okay, I forgot to mention someone. Juju Watkins. Like the evolution of women's sports is just evolving right in front of our eyes, and we just. I refuse to be one of the ones that's gonna let it go unnoticed. I actually look to hope to kind of have some like input on women's sports at some point. I don't know exactly what that is yet, considering the fact that I'm only 17 right now. But in the future, we'll see what that consists of and what that actually is. So, firstly, I kind of want to tackle three articles from the internet. One from the official WNBA website, one from ESPN.com, and then one from the NBA, more specifically the Golden State Warriors section of the NBA website. So I'm going to start with the WNBA, their website. Okay, yeah, it does says here that the WNBA is coming to the Bay Area to tip off the 2025 season. Yeah, so they will start in 2025 at the Chase Center. Oh, actually, this isn't really an article. This is like just promoting the. Well, I mean, it's a little bit of an article, but not really. So all it says is that they will be playing at the Chase Center. The Bay Area is the perfect market for a WNBA team. The Bay Area is the perfect market for a WNBA team, and we are thrilled. This opportunity has finally come to fruition, said Warriors co-executive chairman and CEO Joe Lacob. We have been interested in a WNBA franchise for several years, due in part to the rich history of women's basketball in the Bay Area, and believe now is the ideal time to execute that vision and build upon the legacy. The WNBA continues to solidify itself as the preeminent women's professional basketball league, and we look forward to supporting the best women's basketball players in the world and our team starting in 2025. That is an exact quote from Warriors co-executive chairman and CEO Joe Lacob. Now I will transition into the NBA.com website and see what they have. Oh yeah, they have it in an actual article. Okay, this is what. Okay, great, 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 great. Alrighty, so this is from. It doesn't have an exact author attached to it, so we'll just solidify them as anonymous. Uh, so it pretty much just says, for starters, that the Golden State Warriors have been awarded a WNBA expansion franchise. The team will be headquartered in Oakland, and home games will be played at the Chase Center. This was said on or published on October 5th at 8:58 a.m. PDT. Anyway, I'm not even gonna. Never mind. So it says the Women's National Basketball Association (WNBA) announced today that. Okay, so it was officially announced on October 5th, 2023. That the Golden State Warriors have been awarded a WNBA expansion franchise, which will begin play in the 2025 WNBA season. The team will play home games at the Chase Center in San Francisco and marks the WNBA's first expansion franchise since 2008. Fans who wish to buy season ticket memberships can do so by placing a deposit at WNBA.com/Golden State. Okay, then it has the thing that Joe Lacob said. I'm not going to read that again. So I'm going to skip down here. The Warriors Oakland facility, which served as the Golden State Warriors' practice facility and front office from 1997 to 2019, will be the WNBA team's headquarters, housing a world-class practice facility and the team's front office staff. The team's brand identity will be announced at a later date. We are thrilled about expanding to the Bay Area and bringing the WNBA to a region with passionate basketball fans and a strong history of supporting women's basketball, said WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. Joe Lacob, Peter Guber, and their leadership team now know how to build and operate a world-class organization, as witnessed by the immense success the Warriors franchise has enjoyed from both a business and basketball perspective over the last decade. Their interest in joining the WNBA family is yet another sign of the league's growth potential. The 2023 WNBA regular season I cannot read today, delivered record-breaking viewership, attendance, and digital engagement as the league continues to drive business growth and results. The offseason featured the most viewed WNBA draft since 2004, followed by the most watched regular season in 21 years. Well, that's a good sign. So that is the official article from the Golden State Warriors of the NBA. Now I'm going to tackle what ESPN has to say, and then I will tell you what I personally have to say. It is titled, the article on ESPN, as What to Know About the Warriors' WNBA Expansion Franchise. It is an article that is also deemed as anonymous and just simply has the ESPN in totality attached to it. Anyway, WNBA fans have long clamored for expansion, and that day is finally here. The league will add a 13th team in the Bay Area. Let me stop right there. A 13th team. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the NBA has 30 teams. This is not even half of that. So, doing some quick math here, if there are 30 teams in the NBA, and I believe the most players on one roster can be 15. 15 times 30 is 750, meaning that there are, let me make sure that's correct. I just try to do mental math and try to be smart. Let me make sure here. 30 times 15. I said 750 is 450. What? 30 times 5 is 150. Oh, times 3. I don't know why I did times 5 again. Times 3 is 450. Yeah, that's right. My bad. Brain fart. It's a little early for me. Relax. Um, so 450 NBA players. Now, let me do a fact check, 'cause I don't know if it's 15 or not in the WNBA. That's the most that could be on a roster. Okay, so I just looked up how many players can be on a WNBA roster. It says each WNBA team has a minimum roster size of 11 players and a maximum roster size of 12 players. The quarters in the there, that's not important. Anyway, they can have 11 to 12 people. So 12 times 12 is 144. Now with the 13th team, that's at least 12 more people that can be on the roster, or at most, because at least it could be 11. That means 156 people, which is about times, well, the NBA has about times 3 more players in its respective league than the WNBA does. That is just crazy. It's not even half. That's utterly ridiculous. Anywho, moving forward. Okay, the league will have added a 13th team in the Bay Area awarded to the NBA's Golden State Warriors. That will begin play in 2025. The WNBA announced Thursday. A second expansion franchise is expected to be announced this year, likely in Portland, per ESPN's Ramona Shelburne. 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 Anyway, that franchise would also begin play in 2025. WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert confirmed in a news conference Thursday as the league's goal is to have 14 teams by 2025. Now, that would mean that, let's see, there would be potentially 168. We also fact checked that. 168 players in the WNBA. Yes, okay, that's right. I had to redeem myself from the first time I messed up. Anyway, that is still not half of what the yeah, at that point it would be half. That would be around 336. So that's about a little bit over half actually, if they were to do that. Which means things are finally looking like they're going in the right direction for the WNBA, and I absolutely love it. So we are could be potentially expecting another franchise to be expanded into the WNBA with Portland, the Portland Trail Blazerettes. No, that sounds horrible. Don't let me decide the team's name. Anyway, Engelbert and Warriors personnel declined to reveal the expansion fee the Warriors paid. Engelbert added only that it was a record-breaking expansion fee for the league, along with other significant investments that come with starting a WNBA franchise. The league, which had as many as 16 teams in 2000, has held steady at 12 teams since 2010, after the Sacramento Monarchs folded the previous year. It last had 14 teams in 2008 when both the Monarchs and the Houston Comets were still playing. The long awaited news of expansion won't just open up more roster spots, which currently is at a maximum of 144 or 12 per team, but will also reestablish the WNBA in at least one market where the league has already been. The Monarchs were originally No, the Monarchs were an original franchise and played in Sacramento from 1997 to 2009, winning a championship in 2005. The Portland Fire were added in 2000 before the franchise folded in 2002. The new team, which will likely be called Golden State per Shelburne, though its official name and mascot are still to be determined, will play home games at Chase Center in San Francisco, where the Warriors play, and will practice in Oakland at the Warriors' former practice facility. The Warriors are the sixth NBA franchise with a WNBA team joining the Indiana Pacers with the Indiana Fever, the Minnesota Lynx as a counterpart to the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Brooklyn Nets, and the New York Liberty, the Phoenix Suns with the Phoenix Mercury, and lastly, the Washington Wizards with the Washington Mystics. Golden State also expands the league's footprint out west, giving the WNBA 5 teams in the Pacific or Mountain time zones. ESPN's Alexa Filippo, Michael Vopel, and Kevin Pelton break down what we know and what we are still waiting to find out about the new Golden State WNBA team and the league's expansion plans. Let's see what they have to say. Why is the WNBA expanding now? Warriors personnel and Engelbert pointed to signs that women's basketball and women's sports in general are taking off. On Thursday, they mentioned how viewership, attendance, and merchandise sales are all going in the right direction, as well as increased sponsorship interest even with the past 5 to 10 years. To put it simply, the league is ready, said Joe Lacob, Warriors co-executive chairman and CEO. While the WNBA sat on expansion for over a decade, the NWSL, which began competition in 2013, has showcased the surging interest and investment in women's sports, as the league has expanded from 8 to 12 teams since 2011 and has 3 more to come, including one in the Bay Area. The inability of promising yet developing players or even already established talent veterans to maintain roster spots in the league has led to calls for the WNBA to expand its size, which could be done either via franchise expansion or by increasing the number of players teams are permitted to carry. WNBA stakeholders have different opinions on which route would be best, but Engelbert has maintained she believes franchise expansion is the way to go. The depth of talent in this league has never been better, and the depth of the talent and breadth of the talent coming out of the NCAA system has never been better, Engelbert said Thursday. Franchise expansion will arrive amid enormous excitement over the crop of talent and high-profile players currently in college, a group of Engelbert called generational players Thursday. And this kind of piggybacks on what I was saying about the upcoming talent that we have of the younger women, as she reiterated, where she says, with the likes of Iowa's Caitlin Clark, LSU's Andrew Reese, Stanford's Cameron Brink, UConn's Paige Beckers, and Ozzie Fudd, I believe it's AZ Fudd. Sorry, I missed you when I was talking about it. But anyway, and Notre Dame's Olivia Miles, expected to grow pro over the next few years. The 2025 calendar year will be pivotal for the league, even beyond expansion. While the current CBA runs through 2027, there is a mutual opt-out clause that could go into effect at the end of the 2025 campaign. The league's media rights deal with ESPN also runs through 2025. Engelbert has previously identified the new rights deal and as part of the league's valuation as critical to the league's growth, and has said that expansion can help boost the league's value ahead of those negotiations. That is what Philippou said. How will a WNBA expansion team be built? Engelbert said Thursday that details on how Golden State will build its roster will be discussed after the WNBA Finals when both the competition committee and board of governors meet. She said an expansion draft will likely happen in late 2024 after the draft lottery for the 2025 draft is held. While we don't know exactly how the process will go, we can look to history for precedent. In 2008, the Atlanta Dream built their inaugural roster of 13 players via an expansion draft by selecting from a pool of available players from the other 13 WNBA franchises and by conducting multiple trades. For the expansion draft, which was held in February before free agency, each team was able to protect a maximum of 6 players who were not eligible for selection by Atlanta. The Dream could choose 1 player from each team regardless of contract status, although they couldn't select multiple unrestricted free agents. Atlanta then had the rights to core that unrestricted free agent, in the Dream's case, Betty Lennox. The last time an expansion draft was held for multiple incoming franchises was in 2000. The still running Indiana Fever and Seattle Storm, as well as the now defunct Miami Soul and Portland. In the expansion draft, the rules largely preserved existing teams, allowing them to protect 8 of their 9 top players. The new team selected 6 players in the expansion draft and filled out their rosters in the 2000 draft or via trades. In 2008, the Dream were assigned the number 4 pick and did not participate in the lottery. In 2006, the Chicago Sky were assigned the 6th pick behind the 5 teams that missed the playoffs the previous season. Again, these aren't necessarily the rules the league will dedicate as Golden State builds its roster, but they give us an idea of what could happen. Also said by Philip Powell. Why is the Bay Area a good fit? What might set this Golden State team apart? Aside from the Bay Area's women's basketball tradition and roots, the region makes sense from an economic perspective. Engelbert mentioned multiple times the potential to capitalize off Silicon Valley as a global hub of technology and commerce and innovation. Technology is driving our economy, and the tech center of our country doesn't have a WNBA team. That doesn't seem right to me, the commissioner said. The Bay Area is also a big media market and had favorable demographics and the psychographics for a WNBA team, she said. Engelbert mentioned the importance of bringing in long-term owners committed to success, not just to the team and winning championships, but to the league overall. And the Warriors seem like they'll fit that bill perfectly. The fact that this Golden State team will play in a state of the art arena, such as the Chase Center and practice in an NBA grade facility in Oakland, shows the standard for investment in the league is light years better than where it was even 5 years ago. The Warriors have the expertise on how to operate a massive successful basketball franchise, and Lacob has shown a commitment to women's basketball previously with his involvement in the ABL and the San Jose Lasers. He noted that the sport is in a much different place than where it was in the late 1900s, sorry, 1990s, but also said, a I'm a lot wiser now. We are a little more experienced, and we're certainly well capitalized and have good facilities. Many notable WNBA players have Bay Area ties. Sabrina Ionescu, Chelsea Gray, Danielle Robinson, and Haley Jones are from the region. Stanford produced sisters Nneka Ogwumike and Chiney Ogwumike, as well as Brink. and Laisha Clarendon went to Cal. Bay Area fans would be even more excited about their new team should it manage to get any of those local legends. It's important to remember that the Monarchs franchise didn't fold for lack or fan support. It was one of the franchises that was a victim of the global financial crisis of 2006 to 2008 and the Maloof family, which then also owned the NBA's Sacramento Kings, got out of the WNBA. There were Bay Area fans who supported the Monarchs. Now they won't have as far to travel between the Stanford fan base from Monarchs and Laser fans and cultivating new fans. This organization should be able to establish a solid following, said by Vopal. And the last piece of this, questioning how long might it take for an expansion team to become competitive. Lacob boldly said in Thursday's news conference that the Golden State team will win a championship within its first 5 years of existence. Something he also said when he purchased the Warriors. That said, history tells us not to expect too much, too soon from an expansion team. The last two franchises added to the league won a combined 9 games in their first seasons of play, with Chicago going 5-29 and Atlanta going 4-30. But their paths diverged from there. The Dream landed Angel McCourty by winning the 2009 draft lottery and improved by 14 wins in year two, making the playoffs. A year after that, Atlanta reached the WNBA Finals for the first of 3 trips in 4 years, led by McCourty. Meanwhile, the Sky were still struggling to make the playoffs despite arriving in the league 2 years earlier. Their first postseason trip didn't come until their eighth season in 2013, when the addition of future MVP Elena Deladon as a rookie to another future MVP in Sylvia Fowles produced a 24-10 record. Chicago made the finals for the first time the following year. Making the finals in year three might not be realistic for the Golden State franchise, but with the Warriors' resources, it's unlikely the process will be as slow as it was for the Sky, said by Pelton. That is what Pelton, Vopal, and Philip Howe had to say, and that kind of recaps or covers the ESPN article. Now I'm going to tell you what I personally have to say about all of that. For starters, I'll say introducing a WNBA team to the Bay Area could be a transformative step in addressing the lack of exposure that women's sports often faces. The region's progressive values and diverse population make it an opportune location to elevate, female athletes' visibility, inspiring young girls, and fostering a culture of inclusivity in athletics. While while the Bay Area's passionate sports enthusiasts present an opportunity for an expanded fan base, it's essential to acknowledge the current lack of exposure of women's sports in mainstream media. Establishing a WNBA team in this context becomes not only a strategic move for the league, but also a broader societal or societal initiative to bring more attention to women's athletic achievements. Economically, the presence could stimulate local businesses and job markets with game days creating opportunities for vendors and service providers. However, the competition with existing major sports teams in the area poses a challenge. You know, effectively differentiating the WNBA team and overcoming ingrained preferences for men's sports will be sort of crucial in capturing the attention of the Bay Area audience. Financial considerations also loom large as the investment required for player salaries and facility maintenance demands careful planning. So, overcoming financial challenges is interconnected with the broader goal of increasing exposure, while a well executed marketing strategy that emphasizes that unique strengths and narratives of the women of the WNBA team can be a powerful tool in attracting attention and support. So, to sort of conclude me saying all of this, I will say that the expansion of the WNBA to the Bay Area not only presents an opportunity for gender representation and economic growth, but also, but also it serves as a catalyst for addressing the lack of exposure of women's sports. Strategic efforts to differentiate the team, engage the community, and amplify the stories of female athletes are pivotal in navigating the challenges and ensuring a lasting impact on the visibility of women's sports within the Bay Area. So, I will say that I am extremely, once again, excited about this. I think this is great for the league. I'm excited to see who ends up on this team. That's going to be also interesting. I mean, just the newness of this entire opportunity. You know, the team name, like I said, who's on the team, how the jerseys will look, how the logo will look, who's going to be coaching this organization, the whole nine. I'm excited for all of it. You know, we've been asking for this, and it's slowly happening. I just hope they remain like they reiterated in the ESPN article. There were teams like in San Antonio and in Portland that had teams, but for various reasons they had to withdraw from the league in totality because they just simply couldn't prolong the organization any longer. So I hope that that is not the case now with this Golden State team. But with the money that's over there in Golden State, I believe that that should not be an issue. Pretty sure whatever, like they say, with the extreme amount of resources that the Warriors have, or Golden State rather has, they should be fine in every aspect imaginable. So I had an extreme time talking about this. This was great for me. I love this. I love this. I love this. Also, I was very the video or the film that is kind of projected over this video is, as you'll see, USC and I believe California. I just did that because Golden State's in California. I just tried to put two California teams, and I didn't want to. It's kind of spoiling things here, but I didn't want to put USC and UCLA because I kind of have a Juju Watkins video coming up very, very soon. It won't be one I record today, so if you think about it, get it today, it's not happening. It's going to be one of the further 30, one of the episodes in the 30s. So it won't be any of these three. But yeah, I didn't want to put her in there because maybe I'm using it for a later date. You know what I mean? So it won't be in here. But I still have two other episodes to record. So with that being said, I'm going to get up out of here. Always love for me. Appreciate y'all always bearing with me and working with me through my progressions and trials and tribulations. Always remember, don't underestimate, appreciate. Without further ado, gone.